What was really the theme of Pesach? Everything we do is Zeichel L'Tzias Mitzrayim. Twice a day, Zeichel L'Tzias Mitzrayim. Why is everything Zeichel L'Tzias Mitzrayim? It says the Nesiv Shalom, it's based on the Chazal, which is basically the story that Hashem has a message for us today. We think that if we sin, if we fall, Hashem likes us less. But what was the story of Mitzrayim? We were on the Mem Ter Shari Tuma, almost the Nun Shari Tuma. And Hashem runs ahead and He goes ahead and He rescues us. And how does it start? It starts that Hashem tells Moshe, go to Parai, right, and tell him, do you know who you're messing with? B'ni B'chayri Yisrael. These are my B'char. The Medrash says, hang on, there's two children. We are Banim Atem Hashem Alikechem, but there's another thing that was created that's called also a child. You know what that is? Angels. B'nei Elikim. Frekt Reb Levi in the Medrash, there are two children, and I don't know which one does Hashem love more. Does Hashem love more the angels who get 100 on every single test? They listen to every single thing that you say. They're perfect. They're amazing. They're fantastic. No issues with the angels. Or does Hashem like His children, those Jewish guys, which Ashamnu, Baganu, Gazalnu, Dibanu, Doifi, Havinu, Vashana, and that's only the stuff we're willing to admit in shul. And all the Achetz, and all the right Slachlanus 3 times a day, and all the Churban, and the Pesach, Am She'oref, and all the trouble that we make for him. So the Medrash says, I don't know. Now what would you say? Which kid do you like better? The one that never gave you an ounce of trouble? Or the one that's, Yeah. Says the Medrash, Hashem loves Klal Yisrael more than heavenly angels. How do you know? Because it says, B'ni B'chayri Yisrael, that we are the B'char. And even though the truth is the angels were created first. So why are we the B'char? That's a Lashon of Ahava and Chiba, Lashon of love and, Ahava and Chiba, to show us Hashem loves us more than heavenly angels. Did you know that? But here's the kicker. If Hashem would have said B'ni B'chayri Yisrael when we were on Kabbalah Satira, the highest level, we would say, okay, we're still human, but we came to such a high level. Hashem says, I love you as much as angels. Good. But that's not when He said it. He said it when we were Avi'S Avodah Zarah. We were spitting in Hashem's face. Much worse than any Avi'S that we do today. We said, you don't run the world. You don't run. This cow runs the world. You're not in charge of my parnasa. This sheep is my king. I mean, come on. That's really, we don't do that. We don't do that. Right? We know Trump runs the world. Right? What do we serve? We have issues. We have problems. Nobody says, no Avodah Zarah. So they were Avodah Avodah. And Hashem says, I don't think Parai gets it. Parai thinks that they fell down. They lost everything, right? They were partying out with the shiksas. They were going out, it says in Chazal. They were partying, they were getting drunk, all kinds of bad stuff. But, by the way, you know what Chazal says, the Medrash says? We built our own shtiblach for Avodah Zarah, for Avodah Zarah. I mean, we were slaves, so we didn't have time, we didn't have money, we didn't have energy. Extra, besides all of our working, we went ahead, and we didn't want to go travel to the city, and we went ahead and we had our own little shtiblach. This one I daven in, this one I don't daven in, I don't like the crowd there. And probably the real Getchka guys, they probably davened at 7 a.m. So we have the Chassidish Shtibel, the Minyan factory, with 7, 7:15, 8:15, with the coffee and everything. We built our own stuff. Very bad. And Hashem says, I got news for you, Parai. But the truth is, we need to know this. I got news for you, us. B'ni B'chayri Yisrael. Hashem loves us at that situation. L'hayros u'laharos. L'hayros u'laharos. To show and to teach us l'dayros. That Hashem loves us even when we are Avi'S Avodah Zarah, so much that He's willing to change the Mareches HaTeva to save us. And of course we don't get to see that every single day today. But that's the message that we have to remember. That as a nation, that we were in tragedy, we were stuck, Hashem was willing to change everything. All the Makkos went from below sea level, from the lowest level. Each one is a little bit higher, and it goes all the way to Neshamas. B'chayris is Neshamas. And Hashem showed on every single level, right, that I'm willing to turn over all the laws of nature to save you. And to show the Mitzrayim how much I love you. Sometimes we have the Mitzrayim inside of us. That part of us says, Hashem hates me, I'm not good enough, I'm a messed up person, there's no way Hashem likes me. And those voices of Parei and Mitzrayim sometimes are alive in us, in our children, and a lot of people. And that's the Zecher L'Tzias Mitzrayim. Twice a day you have to remember. Remember. Remember, Mitzrayim, Mitzrayim. That what? That all of these things that Hashem did for us was when we did not deserve it. Because if Hashem would have done this when we were on the Chav Sharei Tumah, on the 20th level of Tumah, we would have thought, Hashem will tolerate us until 20. 30? No way. 40? Forget about it. So says the Nesiv Shalom, that's Pshat B'chi Pazoin. Hashem had to take us out quickly. Why? Because we were about to fall into the 50th level. So he asked, why didn't Hashem plan a little better? Why did he wake up the last minute? We're about to fall. He didn't know. Start a few weeks earlier, for a few months earlier. Why'd you wait for that? It says, no, it's on purpose. Hashem waited to the very last second. So you should know forever that even in that matziv, I love you, Loheris Laharis, that the love that Hashem has for Klal Yisrael is unlimited, is without any reason, and it's the essence of our relationship. Not because of your good deeds, your banai. And it's a mistake for the frum people who think that I am deserving, and that's why I could say banai matam Hashem. No. It's the relationship. Hashem could have picked any kind of relationship with us. He could have said, I am your king, and you are the slaves. It doesn't say that. He picked the one relationship that can never be destroyed. Every other relationship that there is in the world can be destroyed, except for father-child. Therefore, Hashem said, Banim atem Hashem alekeichem, and then he said, I love you more than heavenly angels. That means that there is nothing that we can do that is stronger than Hashem's commitment to the relationship. And even if we drop our side, his side is perfectly strong and is not going anywhere. These are the beautiful messages that is Teiris Emes that our whole generation needs. Not just the kips, the skips. Not just the skips, but the mips and the fips. The mom's in pain and the father's in pain. We all need to understand this message. As we go deeper and deeper in Gullus, we're not so proud of ourselves. We're not like as holy as our grandparents. We don't daven and learn like our great-grandparents. So we need to remember, Hashem is testing us. Do you believe that I love you just as much? Or do you think that your actions are stronger than my commitment to love you? Open up the Nesiv Shalom, underline all the good stuff, and that's what you sprinkle. These are the messages that you give, even if your kippah is not there, that your skips should understand that and should realize what Klal Yisrael is based on. If this did not exist, if this did not happen, this commitment, we would not be here. We would not have been rescued from Mitzrayim because we were undeserving of all of the nature, the rules, Hashem ripped them up. Also a lesson. So many times we say, I have rules in the house. The rules are meant to keep society and to keep our homes running well, not to drown our kids. If it comes down to, I'm going to have a house with rules but without my kid, then in the name of what? The rule is there to help the child, not drown the child. I had an amazing story in Home Sweet Home. There was a kid that went out one night and he did drugs. And I found out about it. Now, it's nishkan chachma. It's not very smart to lose kids. I could have thrown every single kid at some point out. Hello, I was opening up a home for kids who that's their profession, to get thrown out of places. The whole idea was I never threw a kid out. There was one kid, like after in a short period of time, he threw himself out. But I didn't lose my kids. So the chachma was, how do you not lose kids? They break whatever rules you have, right? We have rules because we had to have rules because it's a house. It's different than your house. It's a program, and there's other kids trying to stay clean. What are you supposed to do? So this kid went ahead, and he did drugs. So I went there at like 1 o'clock in the morning. They was not supposed to be outside. First, I got into pajamas and my robe, because I always did that for impact. Now, if they're watching, I fooled you. And I came, I said, I forgot something at the house, and I said, how you doing? Okay, let's go to sleep, go to sleep. I looked at him, and I just stared at his eyes, just 1 second, and I moved on. He texted the other guy who was texting me, the snitch, but he was a good guy. He snitched on him for one reason. I'll explain to you. None of the kids trusted adults, right? They all feel, don't trust any adults. You don't trust the police, you don't trust the adults, nothing. They trusted me to the point that they knew, I tell them, if somebody breaks a rule, tell me. Why? Because if I don't catch him, he's going to keep on breaking rules. He's not going to make it to the end of the year. If I do catch him, I'm not going to throw him out. I'm going to save him. So that's why he went ahead and he told me about what was happening. So he texted, oh, Avi saw my eyes. That's it. My days here are numbered. I don't know what's going to be. The next day I came into the house and said, by the way, I'm doing a drug test tomorrow. So he went ahead and he figured it's going to be a urine test. He started going out to buy urine and you could buy anything on the internet. And to ask friends, I'll pay you, can you just give me some urine? Amazing what people need these days, right? Actually, you know the story about this boy that bought on the internet urine for his test, and he gave it in, and it came back and said, well, we have good news and bad news. The good news is you're clean from drugs. The bad news is you're pregnant. So you have to be careful with that mazel of alles, the Sefer Torah Shebehechel, and the urine that you buy in the internet. You never know what you're going to be getting these days. Okay, so today he would just say, what's the word? I identify as a pregnant woman, and that's it. We have no issue. Depends how you identify. Anyway, all kidding aside, so I saw this kid, so I told him, no, we're going to do a test, and he was trying to get urine. I walked in, and I had cups with everyone's name on it. And I went over to him, and I said, I'm doing a hair follicle test. Now, Chacham from the Manashtana, the hair follicle test. Do you know what a hair follicle is? I don't. The hair follicle is the piece that's in your brain, right? That the hair pulls out of your brain. And 13 months you can check. But I did this kaseder throughout the years, the drug test, the hair follicle test, like every few months when I felt I needed it, but I never sent it in, and I never knew what it was. So I said, everybody, okay, surprise, here's your names, and I took out a scissors. What do I know? So I cut off his hair, I put it in the thing, I cut off his hair. You can't tell anything from a cut hair, whatever. And I cut off this guy, I cut it, I put his hair in the cup, and he was texting, that's it, tomorrow Avi's going to find out, in a few days, I'm out of here, he's going to throw me out of here. Erev Shabbos was the next day, it was the third day. And he came in, he was in the kitchen, I'll never forget, and there's nobody else home. And I went over to him, and I prepared myself beforehand. I was holding his cup with his name, with his hair, which is worthless, but he didn't know it either. Fortunately, there wasn't Google then. Nowadays, they would just Google, but I also would have Googled it. Where is the hair follicle? I mean, I would have figured it out. I could have plucked it, but I just cut it. Anyway, so I went ahead and I had his thing, and I just looked at him. He said, hey, what's up? I just looked at him. I turned over his cup, and I knocked out his hair. I put it down on the counter. I took out from my pocket a scissors. I went like this to my own hair. I cut it, put it in the hair. I looked at him, I said, am I going to ever regret this? I said, you know, this is against the rules. He thought I had rules. Huh? I said, the board is going to fire me. They thought I had a board. Oh, if you're watching, there was never a board. Yeah. Now I could tell them, there was no board. I told him, I said, I really liked him. I wanted him to stay, you understand? I said, you know, this goes against everything I believe in. I'm an honest person, but I'm doing this for you because I really care about you. He was just dumbfounded, right? I said, am I ever going to have a problem? Right? That boy is learning in Eretz Yisrael today. I mean, you know, it was such a great opportunity. I'm so happy. Like I always tell you, from the worst situations is we have the biggest Reishim. You have to pray and pray that we have crisis to create opportunities to reach the kid in a way that you can't when everything is going fine. It's when they break that car, they steal it Friday night, and they bust it up, where you can really show them to the depth of their feeling that I don't really believe, Mem Teshari Tuma, that you're going to stick with me. Lahayrais ulaharais. That's what happens in crisis. Lahayrais ulaharais. That I am here. Shaloi mipnei maseyim atoivim heim bonai. Then you're v'halachta b'drachav like Hashem. Okay, so what I told someone who said, what the rules are there. I said, the rules are not here to drown people. The rule is to hold you together, not to do drugs, because we need it to have, but once they do it, it's not helpful to throw the kid out in the name of rules. Hashem said, water goes down, but to save my children, water goes up. Now, a very interesting thing happened. I don't know if you heard about this. It's called Kriyas Yamsuf. The problem was that as soon as Hashem told the Sar of the Mayim to split the water, comes running in, everybody knows, the Sar of the other side, Shmuel, other guy, Samuel's, and he says, hang on. And we all know the beginning, but I don't know if everybody knows the end. Halalu Avdei Avodah Zarah, Halalu Avdei Avodah Zarah. I don't get it. Hashem, I don't get it. This group, you want clearance, they are Avdei Avodah Zarah. And the next one you want us to drown, they're also Avdei Avodah Zarah, which means they're the same. How could you differentiate between this group? But you don't have clearance for that, Hashem. And it's not a joke. The Medrash says, Yalkut Shemoini, that Choyma v'mayim lohem Choyma is without a vav. V'mayim lohem Chema. The Sar of the Mayim got angry and told Hashem, I'm not listening to you. You created a Teva. I can't break Teva. You're telling me to let this group in and drown that group? I can't do it. The Sar of Esav, the Sar of Mitzrayim is correct. What would have happened if there's no answer to that? We would be dead or captured, and right now we would all be a bunch of short brown guys with mustaches and towels on our head. Not a good situation. We would have been enslaved and gobbled up. We would be Egyptians. That's it. So what was the answer to the question? Because it's really a good question. I don't understand. Says the Medrash, Yalkut Shemoini, that Miyad Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem told these angels, Shoite Sheba Oilam, Meshugana, crazy guy, V'chila, Datam Avduha. You think they had das when they were serving idols? V'halei lo yavduha elam mitoich tir of das. They didn't serve idols. They had a shita. Oh, the kid is an atheist. We have kids. It's 13-year-old. I'm an atheist. He went to school to become an atheist. He knows what he's talking about. Tir of das. Ve'ato don shege kemezid ve'onis karatzain. And you're judging those who do things on purpose, like people who do it by accident. Shoyte shabayim. Hashem calls angels. Right? Don't you want to tell that sometimes to the people around you who keep on telling you, look, I go outside, I see 3 guys outside smoking on Shabbos, right? Breaking into cars, right? An African American, an Italian, a Mexican, a Frenchman, and a Jew. Sounds like a beginning of a good joke. Right? And they say they're all the same. It's mamashak goy. Right? They say, what's the chiluk tzishan ayid mit a goy? What's the difference between a yid and a goy? Nor ayid can zan a goy gummer. I don't know how to say that in English. Right? Only a yid can be a really bad guy. A guy can only just be a guy. A yid is a guy, a guma, shaygitz, a shiksa goita. Right? You see, mamish the same. They're smoking on Shabbos. 2 guys, John, the guy, and Yankel. So they're the same. Isn't that what we say? So miyad amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you meshugana, you so don't understand the situation. You're looking at the X-ray. You're looking at the situation here. You miss Shemois ve'er b'ay b'shalach. You don't understand who these are. My kids. Their essence is toiv. They're enslaved, and you're looking at what somebody does after being enslaved, and you're judging them. How real is this to us? People judging our kids. The kid goes through such trauma and pain. Kids are nebuch machmanalitzlan, raped, molested, traumatized with all different stuff. They want to die. And all of a sudden, vayavai, Amalek, right? And all of a sudden, vayavai, I just see the outside layer, and I'm passing and you're a shegitz. It's like you're so missing the point. You have to tell them, excuse me, you don't know my kid. You come into my house, you don't see the way I raise my family. The chinuch that we put into this kid, he's a chayil kalkami mal. Mamish. And you think all of a sudden he's a Russia and he's a Meshugana and he's a... What are you talking about? Something happened over here. We didn't invent this, Rabbi say. We did not invent this. Hashem said that if you're going to judge them by their actions, even though the video camera shows they're Avi'S right alongside over there Muhammad. But no, this guy is free and he's a drug dealer. This kid is traumatized, tear of das. That was the word, shibud, v'tir of das. I was missing a word. That's the Medrash quote. And this answers all the neighbors and all of Klal Yisrael. When you're coming to judge our kids, you're coming in now, you miss Shemais ve'er b'ay b'shalach, you miss the kids' whole story. You know how much pain they're in, you know how much history they have, you know how much dysfunction is in them. Good. So Hashem, what did he do? He changed the whole Marachas HaTava. Imagine that Trump calls up at the JFK, the head of security, and he says there's 2 planes that are landing. One is going to be coming from Israel, and there's 100 guys in there named Muhammad, and the other one is coming from Air Al-Qaeda, and there's 100 guys named Muhammad. And the first 100 guys, they're all going to have suicide vests and everything, and I want you to let them right through. The other one, I want you to shoot them on the spot. So the head of security is going to say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Halalu, halalu. Trump is going to say, no, no, no. These are my kids. I know these people. Let them go. He overrided the system as President of the United States. Hashem, as President of the world, said that even though it looks like to you that they're the same, and it's interesting that the Nesiv Shalom brings down from Chazal, that to angels, we taka look the same. You know why? Angels don't know machshavas. Angels don't know machshavas, what you're thinking. They just see action. So they saw Avdei Avodah Zarah, V'alalu Avdei Avodah Zarah. They're limited. Like I said before, a lot of people have chachma, but they have no bina. The chachma is you do the time, you do the crime. They have no wisdom that this punishment is going to make the kid worse, and long-term vision. How many people in the family that we have are just like that? They have chachma, but no bina. No bina, no understanding of the person. Right? That's what we have to understand. That's what we need to have. So that's what happened over here. Hashem understood more than the malachim. The malachim are limited like the angels in our community and in our families. They only see the kid smoking on Shabbos, the short skirt, and that's it. Your kid is gone. Too bad. Write him off. Throw him out. No, 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 no. Miyad amalai, we have to say, Shaita sheba olam, you're such a crazy person. You don't know the story over here. Our kids are good, our kids are good, our kids are good. Okay. These are the messages that we have to impart on our children. It's all in the manual. And a lot of this stuff is in GPS, in the 4th section, where I took a lot of Nesiv Shalom on Pesach, and it's written over there. These are the messages that we have to go ahead and impart on our children.